Classic Truck Rescue. Today, we're going to make a video that I've been wanting to make for a long time. Actually, there are two videos that I've been wanting to make for a long time. I always thought it'd be cool to do a video of the 1955 to 59 Chevy trucks and the 1955 to 59 GMC trucks. While I have all of them at my disposal, because a lot of my trucks are sold and they're going to be going away, and I'm selling a lot more of them because just seriously got to cut the numbers down. And I know I've been saying that, but I have actively sold a bunch of trucks that I'm just waiting on people to ship out of here. But anyway, before they go, I thought it'd be cool to go to each year of 55, 6, 7, 8, and 9 Chevy, and then do the same with GMC trucks. Show you all the differences between the year models, like an identification guide for the 55 to 59. Chevys were called task force trucks, and the 55 to 59 GMCs were called blue chip trucks. And I'll splice in some advertising and stuff. I wish I had time to dig out my memorabilia on these trucks, but maybe at a later date. I'll splice in some pictures and some info to back up what I'm saying about these trucks. But today I'm going to start with the 55 to 59 Chevy trucks. I'm going to go to one of each year and show you the differences so you can tell the difference between a 55 and a 56 or a 57 and a 58. And I thought it'd be fun, and I'm sure it'll lead to a lot of comments. I am not an expert on anything. I never claimed to be, but I do know a lot about these trucks. I'll share what I know with you. Please be kind in the comment section. If you disagree with me about something, say it nicely, and I'll comment back and we'll have a debate if I'm wrong about something. Or if I omit something that you feel is important that could be added to it, add that in a comment. These videos will go on my Classic Truck Rescue Facebook page, and also a new page I started a few months ago called the 55 to 59 Chevy and GMC truck historical page. I know that's quite a mouthful, but that's what I want it to be. And also on Instagram, and you know, all the stuff like that. I don't want to say a couple of them. I thought it'd be a fun video to make. It's been the wettest January, I think, since we've been on the property this year, and I've just been waiting for a little bit of sunshine, and there it comes right there. And hopefully I can get this done before it rains. Got some exciting stuff going on with my shop in the box and a little project that I'm working on for one day before I put the two trucks that I'm going to be restoring in there. And we'll take Annabella along with us, and yeah, you and go look at some trucks. Also, just want to add something real quick. I don't often comment on my comments in my videos, but sometimes I do. And they're usually about comments that you never saw because I deleted them. I always put a description in the video of what's going to be in the video. Annabella's in a lot of my videos, so if you don't want to see Annabella, you probably shouldn't watch them. If you don't want to ever hear me mention God, definitely don't watch my videos. My viewers, longtime viewers, know I don't go into sermons on the camera unless you watch CTR-2, which was a spontaneous baptism. But other than that, I don't go into sermons on my videos. So I reserve the right to give thanks to God for things and give glory to God for things. But I don't go into a sermon. So if you watch my videos, there's a chance you're going to hear me give some thanks to the Lord. But no sermons. And also, what was the other thing? Oh, the sob story. We don't want to hear a sob story like things happen out here. Bad things happen to everyone every day. It's not a sob story. It's a story of overcoming adversity, because I don't throw something out there and then say, oh, that's it, we're done, we give up. I show you what happens and I show you how we fix it. That's what we do. So that's life, you know. And also, there's not always going to be a truck rescue or us dragging a truck out of the bushes or restoring a truck in a video. That's not what our main base watches us for. They like to see the progress on the property. They like to see us playing with muscle cars. They like to see the animals. That's another thing. There's going to be animals in my videos. And I try to tell you what the video is going to be about in the description. And I'm not whining, I'm just stating the facts. Anyways, let's have fun. Go look at these different trucks and I'll show you the differences. I'll get this one in the can today and hopefully get it uploaded. I'm trying to stay pretty close to the actual shooting time to the upload time, if that makes sense now. I'm not way backlogged on my footage, a little bit sometimes, but not bad. As soon as I get some more work done around here, and we have another sunny day or semi-sunny day, I'll go do the GMC 55 through 59 videos. Let's go. Before we go to our first 1955 Chevy 2nd Series truck, there's something I have to clear up. This is the truck that Chevy made for the first half of 1955. This body style, and this isn't a 55, but it's the same body style as the truck I'm talking about. This body style ran from 1947 to 1955 in June. So they built this body style for the first half of 1955. This body style was known as the Advanced Design trucks. So halfway through the year, they switched to the 2nd Series trucks, which are called 2nd Series trucks, or in Chevy terms, Task Force trucks. And now we'll go to the truck that Chevy and GMC basically unveiled in June of 1955 to replace this one, which had been a long time staple. Also, that first body style that ran from 47 to the first half of 55 is where you get the expression 5-window cab. The truck I just showed you only had the small window in the center, so it was a regular cab. But this truck is a 5-window cab. Again, that's the Advanced Design pickup right there. So halfway through 1955, Chevy came out with this. This is a short bed, so it's designated 3100. A half-ton long bed would be a 3200. A 3600 would be a 3/4 ton, and a 3800 would be a 1 ton. On 55, the fender emblems were mounted below the fender line right here. And the 55 had a unique hood ornament that was 55 only, and that's it right there. It has a black background with a red bow tie. So that is a 55 2nd Series half-ton Stepside Chevy pickup. The VIN numbers on these are also located in the door pillar right there. You open the door and it's on the pillar for the windshield. It's also located on the frame, just in the area where the steering gearbox bolts to the frame, and it's on top of the frame. And also the 55 had the egg crate type grill on it. Now, the only difference between a 55 and a 56, and I don't have a small pickup 56, I have a big army truck 56, but it will serve to show you the difference. There is a different hood emblem, and there is a different location for the fender emblems. Also, something I noticed, and I've never heard anyone discuss, is that on 55, these 3100 Chevrolet Spears are one piece. I've always noticed that. One piece for the 55s. And I will show you the difference on a 56. The first thing you'll notice is that this truck is a lot larger, but it serves the purpose of showing you the difference between 55 and 56. 56 had a much wider hood ornament on it. Also in 56, instead of the Chevrolet emblem, Spear emblem, being mounted below this body line like it was in 55, it's mounted above that fender line. And as I was explaining, there's a split right there. And I don't know why they did that. Maybe they wound up in 55 having way too many of some of the less used emblems left over or something, but by doing this, they were able to basically use this front part of the emblem with any series of truck and just change the series designation number. Also, on the bigger trucks like this one, you'll notice there's a different grill. That grill is the same for 55, 56, and 57 bigger trucks. The difference between the bigger trucks and the smaller trucks, as far as the cab and front clip, is that the front clip is 3 inches wider. So the cab and the hood are the same, and also the inner fenders and the radiator core support are all the same on the half-ton, 3/4 ton, 1 ton, and the larger pickups. The difference is the bumper, the fenders, and the grill. Notice how the fender comes out right here, and on the smaller trucks, your half-ton, 3/4 ton, and 1 ton series, it's flush right there. It doesn't bulge out like that. Also, the wheel well opening. Look at the wheel well opening on this and see how narrow it is between the back of the tire and the front of the door right there. So it's a much bigger wheel well. We'll go back and look at one of the smaller trucks now. Here you can clearly see the difference. These panels right here, actually those are carryalls, are half-ton, and they have a pretty good hunk between the back of the tire and the front of the door. You can see right there. And then when you go to the bigger trucks, although this is a GMC, it's very narrow there. The wheel well opening is a lot bigger on the big trucks. There were also different window options for the cabs. You could get a small back window, which was standard, or you could get a panoramic rear window called the big window that is very popular today. And a lot of people don't know this, but they didn't make many of them, and they only came on the larger trucks. But you could also get a 5-window cab in the 2nd series. This is my dump truck that Jamie and I call Bullfrog. She calls it Bully. Actually, it's more her truck than mine. She loves this thing. But anyways, as you can see, if you look close, it does have a 5-window cab. So it's like a big window cab with dividers. But it's a legit 5-window cab, as you can see. So, but those were only offered on the really heavy-duty trucks. Also, you had 4 different bed options in 55. I misspoke. You actually had 5 different bed options in 55. You had the short bed. You had the long bed. You had 2 long bed options. Actually, 3. This was your first long bed option. It just had a longer step between the cab and the front of the rear fender, but it was very short behind the rear fender. Your second option in the length department was the long bed, and I don't believe I have one on a truck to show you, but it was longer between the back of the fender and here. It actually came about another 13 inches or so. And then the last option was you had a 9-foot bed, which they called the Longhorn. And that thing stuck out way behind the rear fender, and the steps were a lot longer on it. I will look up examples of all 4 bed sizes and show you what I mean. No matter what size Stepside bed you ordered, you could get a side mount spare tire carrier, and they would cut the fender out and put a rack on it. But the rack and the cutout were different on short beds. I call this truck rusty. On a short bed, the rack was completely different. Only one of the vertical supports was on the outside. The other support went through this hole and was made up of 4 or 5 different pieces. Also, the cutout was higher up on the fender compared to the long bed, and the cutout went further back into the fender. And yes, you could get a spare tire mount for the passenger side, but they're ultra rare. I've only seen a few of them. Now, your final option for the beds on the second series trucks when they were introduced in 1955 was this. This was your fifth bed option, and it was the Cameo, although this isn't a Cameo, this is a GMC, but it was the same bed. And I'll splice in some pictures of some nice Cameos here to show you what that was. And the Cameo basically was what it says. This truck, GM had put a lot of work into the new series, the Task Force series. They were very proud of them, and they actually went to the people that were making the fiberglass bodies for the Corvettes and had them build the first 1955 Cameo bed bodies. And I can just imagine someone suggesting that idea. Well, we're making a Cameo appearance, and let's call it a Cameo. And it was fancy. I'll show you some. Look. So now let's go to a 57 and I'll show you the differences there. Here's a 1957, and the way you tell the difference between a 57 and a 56 is the grill, which is no longer the egg crate style grill. It had kind of a little mouth in the center of it. And the difference on the hood ornament, this is a V8 hood ornament, so that's one way that you can tell a V8 truck. It has the V under the bow tie. But the only difference in the hood ornament, the bow tie was painted black with a red background, and on the 56 it was painted red with a black background. The fender emblems were completely different though. This is a 3200 because it's a long bed, but it's still a half ton. And the way you tell between a half ton and a 3/4 ton is half ton 6 lug nuts, 3/4 ton 8 lug nuts, 1 ton sometimes 10. Yeah, 1 ton could have 8 lug nuts for a single wheel, and I believe they had 10 lug nuts for the dual wheel 1 ton. But that's the difference in the hood emblems. And yes, the script and the letter and the number designation for the series goes to the back. I've seen a lot of these mounted backwards. One time I mounted a set backwards and I had to flip them back around, but that oval with the information goes towards the back. Also, another way to tell 57, another new feature for 57 was that dished steering wheel. Well, that was put in to give the guy a little more knee room down there. Another interesting point on the 55 through 59 Chevy trucks, if one way to tell that it's a V8 is it will have a V at the very start of the VIN number. That's how you tell a legit V8 truck. The 55 through 56 had a flat steering wheel and a longer column. The 57, starting in 57 and also in 58 and 59, you had this dished steering wheel with a shorter steering column. And this is a big window truck. This is also a really good way to tell whether your truck was originally a V8 or 6-cylinder. This is a V8 truck. If you got the V8 option on your Chevy truck, you got a 265 V8. That's not a 265, but that's what you got. A 265 V8, that was the only V8 engine that Chevy had at that time. And the V8s were shorter than the 6-cylinders. So in order to get your radiator closer to your fan, on the V8 trucks, they added this piece of sheet metal right here. And it bolts to the top of your hood latch panel. And if you have a 6-cylinder truck, your radiator is right on the other side of this hood latch panel. But on a V8 truck, there was this extra piece of tin right here. It's about 6 inches wide, and it goes back further on the inner fender. Then your radiator core support bolts to the top of it and bolts to your inner fender further back. So your radiator and your radiator core support on a V8 truck are about 6, and I don't know if that's exactly 6, but 6 to 8 inches further back. If you have a 6-cylinder truck, you'll just have your hood latch panel here with the radiator core support bolted right next to it. And if you have a 6-cylinder truck, you'll see the holes where they made provisions for moving the radiator core support back on a V8 truck. On the V8 trucks, there were also several pieces of tin that bolted to the bottom of the radiator core support and the cross member, and they directed airflow to the radiator core support. 6-cylinders don't have those extra pieces of tin. This truck doesn't have it, or I'd show it to you. This is a 3-in-the-tree truck, but you could also get them with 4 speeds and automatics, although the automatics are pretty rare today. Some good news for Chevy truck buyers in 1957 was that was the year Chevrolet introduced its 283 V8. I don't know if you could get it. It seems like you could, because it just seems to me like if a guy went down to a Chevy dealership, he could order up his Chevy truck any way he wanted. But 1957 was also the first year that Chevy made 1 horsepower per cubic inch when they made the 283. I believe that was the fuel injected version, so I don't know if any farmers ordered up fuel injection on their Chevy pickup, but I know you could get them with the power pack and different horsepower levels. But 57 was the first year that somebody achieved 1 horsepower per cubic inch, and that was Chevy. 1957 was also the first year for these humps on the hood. The 55 and 56 hoods were flat, but in 57 these showed up, and you could even buy accessory rockets to put on there. In 1958, the changes were you went from 2 headlights to 4 headlights. The grill opening got wider, the fenders got wider, the hood got narrower, and the radiator core support got narrower. Not only were the hoods narrower, but they also got this recessed indentation that went almost the full width of the flat part of the hood and then blended back in at the front. A lot of people think there's bigger humps in 58 and 59. There's actually no humps. It's an indentation. Yep. The bumper was also wider. 58 and 59 Chevy trucks shared this grille both years, and the fenders also had a different contour from the side. As you can see, the lip for the fender began at the front of the fender and followed it all the way down and went down there. Same cab and same bed though. 58 was also the first year that you could get a Fleetside bed, and you could get your Fleetside bed in long bed or short bed, fancy like this one, or plain like the last one. That made your options for beds in 1958 a short bed, a long bed, a longer bed, a Longhorn 9-foot bed, a Cameo bed, or a Fleetside short bed, or a Fleetside long bed. You could build whatever kind of truck you wanted, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, big window, small window, fancy trim, no fancy trim, plain Jane. 58, sadly, was also the last year for the Cameo, and they made just a little more than 1,400 of them that year. The Cameo was phased out because of that. The only difference between your 58 and 59 Chevy pickups to the eye would be your hood emblem and your fender emblem. The hood emblem grew, and this would be the same deal as most of the other years. If it's a V8, it's got a V under the bow tie, but you can see that the size of the fender emblems increased a lot too, and this one's a 1/2 ton, so it has the Apache designation. This truck will be in my shop before you see this video. I've already pulled the front clip and the bed. They're just sitting on there. We're gonna blow this thing apart and do a resto, complete resto on it, folks. And then on your bigger trucks, you had a much bigger wheel well opening. It was almost like a flare, as you can see. And these front ends on the bigger trucks were a lot wider than the ones on the half-ton, three-quarter-ton, and one-ton trucks. Also on the 58 and 9 Chevys, after you got above 1 ton, it changed from an Apache to a Viking. Another big truck option was the low cab forward LCF. This is a 57, as you can see by the fender emblems, and it's also a V8, as you can tell by the hood emblem. This body style with the hooded headlights, just like they had on the 55, 56, and 57 Chevy pickups, was on the low cab forwards until they changed in 58 and 59. GMCs were completely different. They had more of a flat headlight, less of a hood over the headlight, and that body style for the low cab forward for GMCs was the same 55, 56, 57, 58, and 59. They stuck with that. The Chevy changed in 58 and 59, and I'll show you that difference. The pickups would have said Apache right there, and people are very fond of the Apache pickups now. Also, in 1958, Chevy changed the design of its low cab forward to this beast right here, and I just love it. Your 58 hood ornament was different than the 56 and 7s in that instead of getting narrower at the top, it got narrower at the bottom. This is a V8. The 6-cylinder trucks didn't have this V. I just love that though. You could get all kinds of fancy options for your 55 2nd Series Chevy pickup, or if you owned a bottling company and knew your trucks were going to get beat up and just wanted light duty trucks in the multitudes to perform work all day long and might get bent up and everything, you'd order the fleet option pickup. Now this is a 59. It doesn't have the narrow fenders of the 55 through 57. The headlight would have been more enclosed on this, but all the fleet option trucks had a piece of tin back here to hold the headlight in instead of a fancy headlight bucket. They had this unpretentious grill, which was basically some stamped steel bent and welded together, and a very heavy duty front bumper. The dome light was deleted on it, and they usually had 6 cylinders and 3 in the tree or 4 on the floor. They were made basically just to work, and they were cheap. What's funny is everybody got rid of all the fleet option pickups because they weren't fancy and they looked weird, and now they're actually a collector's item. If you want this one, Rick at ClassicTruckRescue.com. If you wanted a 4-wheel drive, you just told your dealer to order the Napco 4-wheel drive power pack, which consisted of blocks to raise your rear end with longer U-bolts, a transfer case, the correct drive shafts, a shifter for the transfer case, a complete 4-wheel drive front axle assembly with a longer pitman arm, and front U-bolts with special retaining caps. That Napco 4-wheel drive power pack would also come with the emblems to put on your fenders, and it would be delivered to your Chevy dealership where they could install it, or you could take it home and install it yourself. Well, I hope you enjoyed our little walk around the Classic Truck Ranch. I kind of did, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, feel free to comment. There's a lot of other stuff I could have covered, like the options for the heater, the difference between a deluxe heater and a standard heater, and the different stainless options you could get. It's a lot of ground to cover in one video. So if you have contributions you want to make to the information contained in this video to help people out that are trying to identify trucks or anything, feel free to add it in the comments section. Just be helpful about it, you know what I mean? And your comment will be displayed. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. God bless all our viewers. We love you. Just trying to put something out there that people can watch that doesn't leave you mad and upset and angry. And like I said, you know, a lot of these trucks are leaving, and I'm not going to have 1 year of every 55 through 59 Chevy and GMC truck available, which is not doable anymore, folks. And but anyway, I hope you're looking forward to the GMC version of this video, because I am. I'm going to go more in depth on the GMC trucks. They're a little more intricate. And Classic Truck Rescue, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. It helps us. And share it with people that you might think will enjoy it. Peace out.